Hey, can you hear me now? Now, I know you've all been familiar with those words that they were said in a way to promote, well, way back in 2002, Verizon Wireless Phone Company, and they sought a way to promote their buying public, you know, and they put in an effort into their how to sell to their buying public. So Verizon was not the least expensive cell phone service provider at the time, nor the most aggressive with sales and promotional discounts. They had no celebrity spokespersons, spokesmodels, or anybody like their competitors. But Verizon's market share of the cell phone business needed a real boost if the company was to be profitable enough to pay for the investment in the infrastructure that provided their now famous coast to coast coverage. Verizon decided to seek a television and spokesperson who was not necessarily a celebrity, but an everyman who would represent the company's actual 50 crews of technicians who each traveled 100,000 miles annually in specially equipped trucks, checking the range and reliability of the Verizon cell phone towers and coverage across America. Yeah, you know they've been downtown Detroit this week because they put a couple new towers in because of the draft that is happening. So after an audition of over 100 applicants, well, no, it wasn't 100, it was 1,000 applicants for the job, Verizon hired 34-year-old Paul Marciarelli. Well, he was really a look-alike to Clark Kent, Superman. So it's easy to understand the appeal. He was an actor from New York, and he was the one who was to play, the part of the pitchman for the company's ads, in which Marciarelli, with his iconic black horn-rimmed glasses and kind of quirky smile, simply repeated over and over in different places around the country the then famous tagline, "Can you hear me now?" As you know, the rest of the story. And within the first 2 years, Verizon's market share surged a whooping 25%. What they had tapped into was the cell phone's public's huge twin frustrations with the cell phone industry: dropped calls and areas with no service. I want to tell you, New Baltimore is a service area that needs some help. Customers perceived that Verizon was the company that was most committed to helping cell phone users avoid these two technological hazards. Of course, for Marciarelli, that one big TV gig made his career, and he has continued to be the spokesperson he continued for many years to be the ubiquitous person in the ads over and over. And most recently, standing in front of a bunch of Verizon personnel and equipment to represent the company's claim to outstanding support in addition to outstanding coverage, for the draft in Detroit this week. And in the early Verizon ads, that actor did not even have to say his famous lines anymore. He just stood there. And the embodiment of the promise was there. We just saw his face, and somehow we would hear echo of the line, "Can you hear me now?" And the implied silent answer in our minds was always the same: "Yes, I can hear you. We are connected just fine." Connections are so very vital to all of us. And it is not just communication companies that care about this. We are all seeking some form of authentic community where we are known as we really are, and where we can share our gifts of laughter, of food and memories and support. No impression management to be played all the time. In fact, this has been one of the lamentable shortfalls of our technological age. We don't see people in person right now. We have this plethora of communication devices, and all of them claim to be connecting people into virtual communities. Many people feel, however, more alienated and alone than ever before. We have cell phones, we have instant everything, the GPS, everything that you can get for technology. But 21, many times these virtual and instant connections get in the way of authentic connection instead of assisting it. Not so long ago, people used to actually look at each other face to face when they spoke. Teachers actually looked at the students' faces during lectures, class. People riding in a car actually talked to each other instead of doing this with their thumbs on the phone that they had in their lap. They actually talked to each other during meals. I know that sounds preposterous and archaic for sure, but it really did happen. And these days, well, everyone seems buried in their own private iPhone world, or tapping out an email or on a device, or they're hidden behind the laptop screen, surfing the web. But when does anyone talk and listen face to face anymore? As Sherry Turkle wrote in Forbes magazine a few years ago, people today have never been more connected or more alienated instead. God knows we all need some kind of real community. He hardwired us to need others. That's the way he created us. From the Garden of Eden forward, God created humankind in relationship, to be in relationship. Because, as God said it, it's not good for us to be alone, mankind to be alone. And the first curse inflicted upon humanity was the exile of Cain after he killed his brother Abel, remember? There could be few worse punishments than to be placed outside of the community. And with all the dearest respect to Simon and Garfunkel's, famous lyrics, humans are not at their best when we sing, I am a rock. I am an island. I've built walls, a fortress deep and mighty, that none may penetrate. I have no need for friendship. Friendship causes pain. I touch no one, and no one touches me. I am a rock. I am an island. Sad, isn't it? Yes. We were made to be connected. None of us can make it on our own. We were not meant to. We learn best when we exchange ideas and challenge each other's thinking. We need help to recover when we are too weak to manage things on our own. We need the strength and companionship of shared joys and sorrows. We need work that has a purpose in life, and it's bigger than we could accomplish, all by ourselves. And this is the very sense of community and connection Jesus offered his disciples and to all of us as he spoke to them the night before the crucifixion. Using the metaphor of a vine, Jesus reminded us that he is the vine that holds the various branches together. He is the vine that, stems the nutrient from the soil of our Maker into the branched lives. He is the source of our strength and life from which we derive our power, to bloom and bear fruit. Without the vine and branches, well, they wither. Without the vine, the branches lose their connection to the soil and to each other. And without the vine, the branches, they had no life, no future. Sure, all of the exciting action of the planet's life seems to be taking place out on the branches, waving leafy arms to a passing world, boasting, colored flowers in the sun, holding up fat fruit for the harvest. And the branches are tempted to think that they are the real stars of the show, without much need for the ever-present but non-blooming vine. Woe to the foolish branch that forgets the vine. It is a short season in the sun for that self-made branch, and it usually ends up soon after in a nearby fireplace. Jesus would have us all avoid the foolish branch's solitary end. If we stay connected to Christ, we will be connected to God and to each other in ways that we could never deserve or understand. And we will know the joy of real community, real connection, that all of our technological gizmos could only mimic. And what is the name of this community? Where ordinary people can gather again at table, where we can each know each other and be known by who we are, really are, no impression management. It's called church. This is the place where we call upon God and upon each other anytime, any place, and ask, can you hear me now? And the real answer is yes, the connection is strong and the coverage is complete. And the church said, Amen.